Peace and welcome, family, to another episode of Sins of the Fathers. I'm your host, Ani I Am, and welcome back. Welcome back. I appreciate you. For those who have been on a few other episodes and kind of seen them and watched them and maybe commented, I really appreciate you just being a part of this journey for me and helping me heal certain things. I also appreciate you being brave enough to explore some of these things that might actually, kind of expose things that you may have gone through yourself, right? And how to deal with them. So this time, I think I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Normally I'm always talking about how things have happened and how to, what they look like and maybe what I went through, just kind of sharing my experiences. And this time I think I've been doing some research, which I told you guys I was going to do. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just giving you, my own interpretation of things, but I was kind of using some things from, journals, medical journals, different type of therapists and things of that nature. So I did some research, and if you bear with me, I'm gonna just kind of just give a little bit of things that I think is maybe important, in regards to some of us who already kind of identify or understand that we have these traumas, right? We're not under the delusion that we don't have any. We kind of know, some things going on and we need some help, right? And not only that, we want help. We want to help ourselves. We want to identify, heal, and grow into the best version of ourselves, right? So in doing that, I looked up some things, and bear with me because I'm gonna read some of them because it's easier when I can read it, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to mess any of those things up, in terms of like just how I push it back to you, because I want you guys to have it when you so we can understand like what is cognitive behavior therapy, right? Which is where therapists kind of use different techniques to help someone deal with those issues, because those issues have lasting repercussions, obviously, right? The therapists are seeing that these things are lasting way into adulthood, and if they're not worked on, you really just don't have the chance to really kind of work your way out of it. It's something that really needs to be worked out, right? That really needs to be done. So, it's I think the cognitive behavioral therapy, is used to treat a range of mental health issues. So like including anxiety, depression, trauma-related disorders, which is, kind of like, what I'm working with, trauma-related disorders, and trauma doesn't have to be that, you just dysfunctional and depressed, or it could just be little things that are happening that you just don't understand why, and sometimes, identifying negative thoughts and behaviors, right? In cognitive behavioral therapy. Let's just call it CBT for short, so I don't have to keep saying that long ass word, right? But they're saying that basically, a therapist works through those, and they kind of figure out what are some of the things or abuses or neglect that may have happened that allow them to identify these behaviors, right? That kind of come up. So they're given, for example, a person who may have gone through certain things might feel that they are not worthy of love, and attention because of the neglect that they experienced as a child. The therapist, and this is something I believe, these are some of the things that we can do ourselves as well, is going to challenge those negative beliefs. Why do you feel that you are not worthy to be loved? Let's talk through that. And we can talk to ourselves in that way. Like, what makes me think I'm not worthy to be loved? Like, I believe I should be able to be loved. I believe I'm worthy. I believe that I have, these capacities to experience this and enjoy these things, right? So that's part of what the therapist is going to do as well, right? So also, a therapist does things where they help to develop coping skills. So coping skills can be a bunch of different techniques. So let's just call it meditation, deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation to help manage feelings. Because I'll tell you, these things can be physical and mental, meaning the way that your trauma is expressed. So those are other things. Another one is called, they got it and they labeled it as gradual exposure therapy. So gradual exposure therapy would be you going in, having that conversation with your mom or your dad or your uncle or your cousin or whatever in a safe environment. Not in a way that you could be triggered, but in a safe environment, calculated and very meticulously done, right? Because you don't want to just jump in and start, barking up that tree and then mom's bark back and then it's an issue. You dig what I'm saying? Or whatever. Or, for those of us who have gone through extreme trauma, sexual, things of that nature, right? You might, it might be really hard to confront the person that did certain things like that to you, even like physical, just beating you and really like going hard, like, really to that point, it might be difficult. It might be traumatizing to even look at that person. So what a therapist does, they gradually introduce you to those things, and they call it, they call it gradual exposure therapy for a reason. So they slowly give us things to look at, or things to remind us of what we went through, so that we don't go too deep into a repressive or regression state. They give it to us slowly, and I think that could be super helpful. I really believe that sometimes I've gone over instances with my my past where I think about it and I say, I remember she used to do that. I remember he used to do that. I remember they used to do that. And how did it make me feel? And why? And then how am I feeling? Like, how is that making me feel now? And it kind of, gives me something. And then, then they have like, building resilience against those things. Again, this is something that gives you a sense, you develop a sense of control over your life and over how you process those things that may have happened, right? I think that could be a powerful tool in healing. I think that could be a powerful tool to ensure a safe space to experience those things that we are running from again. And again, please, I am not a medical doctor. I don't want to tell you something that's going to hurt you or hurt me. I really don't. So take all of this stuff as just things that I'm reading, that I'm researching, right? Go out, do your research. If you need to talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. If you, like I said, again, if you feel you comfortable talking and putting a message in a comment to me directly, direct DM me, and I don't mind sending out this paperwork so that people can have it. And I don't know if I could post it, because I don't know how many people are going to ask for it, but I would definitely do my best to get it to those who need it or want it, who want to see it and read it. I definitely wouldn't do that. Maybe I'll put it on a site or something like that, but something to help, because this is about helping. Believe me, I'm not doing this for any other reason other than, like I said again, to help myself and to help anyone that's suffering the way that I did. Anyone that's in maybe the early stages, because I think I'm a little bit, I've come out of it, I've done a lot of work. So I may be a little bit further along in this process, but it's some people that are younger than me that are still in the midst of this thing, and it has a grip on their neck. It's choking the life out of them. They unhappy. They thinking about doing things to themselves. These are the people that I'm hoping that may the Creator, the Most High, help me to touch those people. May He help me to touch those people, to help them on the path towards freeing themselves. So this is one other thing that I read, and it was kind of interesting, was that, and I'll read it directly just so you can kind of make sure that I'm not skipping over anything, but childhood trauma can have lasting impact on a person, mental health and well-being. And some of the symptoms that indicate that someone has been traumatized as a child and is dealing with the effects as an adult include. So this is some of the things that you could look for within yourself or in other people that you're around. It could be your spouse, and you could be saying, well, now I understand why my spouse does and reacts in certain ways, right? So, or it could be yourself. Now I see why I react this way when somebody says or does something. Now I see why my sister, my brother, my uncle, somebody in my family, because I would say you should be willing to pass this on to someone else that may need the help. Each one teach one, right? I am my brother's keeper and my sister's keeper. I am. I believe I am. I believe I am. I am. Ani, I am. It's a reason for that. It's a reason. That's my name. It's a reason. I am you to a degree. I am. We're not separate in this journey. We're just not. So, I'm sorry, let me get off track. So some of the symptoms that indicate that someone is dealing with childhood trauma and is dealing with the effects as an adult are intrusive thoughts or memories of traumatic events. So if you constantly thinking about how your mom, your father, your uncle did something to you or whatever, that's a sign that there may be some things going on. Avoidance of reminders of the trauma. So you avoid ever speaking about anything. And I never got a beating. No, I never did it. No, my mom never called me ugly. No, my mom didn't talk about my skin color. No, my mom didn't tell me my hair was nappy. No, my mom, none of that. You're avoiding all of that. You don't even want to talk about it. You look at it on TV and it makes you feel uncomfortable, so you turn the channel. Those are clear signs, right? Difficulty sleeping or nightmares. You know, you wonder why you can't go to sleep sometimes when you just watch something or something has happened, right? Hypervigilance or a sense of being constantly on guard. I know that's me for sure. I know that's me. People have told me, yo, why are you taking that so offensively? Like, why? I was just joking with you. I'll be like, nah, you know, I'm jumping at that, but I'm hypervigilant. And some people call it sensitive. I don't call that shit sensitive. I call it what it is. Like I'm on guard, but I'm on guard because I've never felt that I could let my guard down. I always felt like I might have been under attack from somebody trying to impose themselves, impose their will on me, impose their authority on me. I remember I mentioned to you guys that I had an issue with authority. So there's a clear indication of that, right? Irritability or outbursts of anger. Man, I raise my hand, bam, that's me. I could get angry at times really quickly, and I got to check myself, bam, immediately. Why are you angry, Ani? Why are you angry? Why are you getting angry? This is nothing. You don't let nobody control your emotions. So absolutely, I'm identifying with these indicators that there are traumatic events that have happened in my childhood that are affecting me in my adulthood. Because I definitely get angry fast. And with people I love, not even with people I don't care about, but with people I love, I get angry quickly. And I'll blurt out something and I'll say something and now I gotta apologize. Hey, I apologize. Even to my children, I've done it. And I have to literally turn around and tell my son, listen, I apologize for talking to you like that. I apologize for cursing. You know, I don't never want you to accept that that's the way any human being should talk to you. And I'm not talking about calling them all kind of mother effers and I'm just saying, just even cursing with a certain level of anger involved in that curse. I've done it. Man, as I'm reading this, it's crazy. It's crazy for me. Feelings of detachment. So, feelings of detachment. I've told you before, I would leave and go out and go on my missions. And, you know, that was real for me. Feelings of detachment. Numbness to other people's feelings. Come on now. Be honest with yourself. Listen to these and be honest. Be honest with that. Feelings of detachment or numbness. Difficulty making decisions. Man, come on. If that shit ain't hitting somebody, it's hitting me. I know it. Difficulty making decisions. And I'm a decision maker. In my company, I'm a decision maker. In my home, I'm a decision maker. But do I have difficulty making those decisions sometimes? Absolutely. I'm teetering on it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should do this, if I should do that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe this, maybe that. I'm not really sure. So I'm really like, absolutely, I've gone through that. 100%. 100%. I definitely have suffered from that indecisiveness. Feelings of guilt or shame. Have I felt guilty? Like what they call like survivor's remorse? Have I felt guilty about some things that I have gone through or that I did to other people? Have I felt guilty about the things that's been done to me? Like I feel ashamed of what happened to me. I feel ashamed that I was put in certain situations, that I reacted to certain situations that way, or just shame about things about me that I just wonder, why am I feeling that way, right? Low self-esteem or negative self-image is another clear indication that there could be. So now if you have multiple of these, come on, man. Come on. Like, family, if you got multiple of these, there's a really high chance that there's some childhood trauma. And I know we don't like using that word trauma because they feel like, oh, it wasn't that bad. You know, I ain't get all that. Calm down. Let's take it easy. Let's be real. Let's heal. Let's be real and heal. Let's be real and heal and figure this thing out so that we could walk a path to greatness, a path to the higher potential that we all possess. Let's do that. Let's face these things courageously, for real. Like, let's face these things bravely, knowing that we ain't got to do it alone either. There's people out there. There's people who are willing to help. And lastly, which, you know, I'm sure a ton of us have felt this one, relationship difficulties, including trust issues and difficulties forming and maintaining close relationships. So I know a bunch of us could tap into that, right? Forming and maintaining lasting relationships. We'll cut a person off in a minute. That goes back to the numbness, right? That goes back to the detachment. You know, having trust issues. Before something even happens, you already don't have, you're not even giving the person the opportunity to fail you. You're already saying you don't trust them. You know, and I know we say sometimes trust is earned, and I respect that. I believe that 100%. Trust is earned. But sometimes we can overly be distrustful of a person. And that is an insecurity. Like, real shit, that's an insecurity. When we are overly distrustful of a person, then it can literally be insecurity. And we gotta honestly take that into consideration and see where we are on that scale. And if it's affecting our lives, if it's affecting how we are communicating and operating with other people, then it's an issue. If it's causing us to, have issues at work, have issues in, even friendships, like, just friendships, and you always questioning somebody's motives, why they doing it with it, that's an issue. That ain't healthy. It's not healthy. Now, there's a level of healthy skepticism. At least I believe so, and this is just my personal opinion. It's not medically grounded in anything, but I believe you should have a level of skepticism, but I don't believe it should be a barrier for you to, work with somebody and be around somebody. I don't believe that. I believe, you should be, there are mechanisms, fear, flight, freeze. There are mechanisms that we have in our body, emotions that we have in our body that are to protect us. I think that fear is to protect us. Think about your, primal fear. You hear something but you can't see it, and you say, I gotta make a move, I gotta dip, I gotta whatever. That's protection. That's protecting you. Then especially back in the, and I liken a lot of things because I'm a history kind of guy, to how things were back in those days when a person would hear something and it's a bear. That fear made you run and grab a, whatever, or run and grab, go, get shelter or do whatever to protect yourself. So I believe in that. So again, family, I just wanted to kind of read these things to you to make sure that, we had precise information, right? I love you for staying with me. I love you for just being around and being brave enough to handle these things. Family, peace, love, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.